Who are you?
My name is Ali A. Parker. I'm the voice, the person behind the camera, behind all the videos that you see on My New Puppy. I'm a dog enthusiast, dog trainer. I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to dogs, and I made this channel so I could share my knowledge with the world.
And how did you get introduced to the dog world?
Well, when I was a little kid, my dad was a dog breeder. He bred Dobermans. And at one time, I remember we had like almost 20 Dobermans all at one time. And I also used to go to dog shows when I was a kid. And so that's why ever since birth, that's just been in me, dealing with dogs, knowing about dogs, and just loving dogs.
Okay. And your first video was indeed a Doberman video. So did that play part in you making that video first because you had Dobermans when you were little?
Yeah, actually it did. Because back then, Dobermans used to be my favorite dog breed. I mean, right now, I would say it's probably a Belgian Malinois. That's my favorite dog breed, but Dobermans used to be. So the way I even came up with making a YouTube channel about dogs is I was like, what's something that I love the most, something that I would do no matter what, that I always do, and that's dogs. So I made a channel about dogs and dog breeds and training.
All right, and when you were smaller, it seems like you had a lot of dogs. So what was the most traumatic or worst experience you've had with a dog?
Well, one of the worst experiences when I was about 4 years old. When I was 4 years old, like I said, we had all these Dobermans. And we had this Doberman named Hercules. It was our prize Doberman, the alpha male, big, strong, black and brown Doberman. And when I was little, one day, I was going outside with my father because he was taking the trash out. And the dogs was in the back. And Hercules was his name, the Doberman. And he was excited. He was running around. And then all of a sudden, Hercules just jumped on me and tackled. And he bit my face up, cut my face all the way up. I had blood all over my face. It was a very, very traumatic experience. And I screamed, and my daddy, he grabbed the dog, pulled the dog off of me. And then he went and got a gun. And when I seen him go get the gun, I was like, I was screaming to him. I was like, Daddy, Daddy, no, don't shoot Hercules. Because even though Hercules had, just messed my face up, I still loved the dog. So I was screaming so he wouldn't shoot the dog. And while I was trying to stop him, he actually just pulled out the gun and started shooting Hercules. And he shot Hercules about 4 times. And then Hercules fell down into a pool of blood and he was gone. And, that was a traumatic experience, but it also, as a grown man, I look back at it and I say, it was necessary because Hercules stepped out of bounds. Hercules took it to a place where it wasn't no going back. Hercules actually turned on me and he could have killed me as a child, So it wasn't no discipline. Hercules had to be taken off the planet.
So were those the only dogs that you had growing up, or as you got older, did you have any other dogs?
Actually, I've had many types of dogs. I've had pit bulls, boxers, Lhasa Apsos, German Shepherd, mixed dogs, mutts, everything. my favorite dogs I had was a boxer. His name was Security. He was a very good dog. Loved him. He was fine, black face, brown body, cool dog. I trained him so well to be a tag dog that I named him Security. Very beautiful dog. I get more dogs in the future, but boxers, they're just cool to me. I really wouldn't cut a dog's tail though, like a boxer. Like my boxer's tail was cut, but now that I'm wiser, I know that a lot of times a dog's tail helps them with balance. So you don't want to really cut their tail off, because that's not a good thing, because you wouldn't want nobody cutting one of your body parts off.
Since your channel's name is My New Puppy with Ali A. Parker, where do you suggest people would get a puppy from for the first time?
Well, I would suggest you would go to a breeder. You know, because if you go to a breeder, you're able to ask the breeder questions. A good breeder will show you who their parents is. You can get an understanding of more about the dog and his background if you get it from a breeder. And also, I think you could get it from an animal shelter too, because getting them from animal shelters is also a good thing. Now, you may not get all the information about a dog's parents, but you are rescuing puppies and dogs, and they get their shots, and the people at the shelter, they sometimes know what they're talking about, and they can help you out a lot too.
Okay, I've also heard about puppy mills. So what are your thoughts on those?
Oh, I think puppy mills are horrible. I think if you get a puppy from a puppy mill, either you're very ignorant and don't know what's going on and know how bad those places are and why you shouldn't get a dog from there. And I think if you get a dog from a pet store, especially pet stores that still get their dogs from puppy mills, those type of pet stores literally should be shut down, because puppy mills are a horrible place for dogs. They breed a lot of these dogs, like thousands of them at a time or hundreds of them at a time, and they live in horrible conditions. Now, if you getting a puppy and you want the best puppy, why would you want a puppy that's been traumatized? Or let's just say your actual puppy didn't get traumatized, but his parents came from that same puppy mill, which is this farm where they have all these dogs in cages, where these dogs, they're not getting out, they don't have an owner. It's just they're being bred like cattle. Now, if trauma can be passed on through the bloodline, so that same trauma is being passed on, and then you go to a place like a lot of these pet stores, and I've heard allegedly that Petland is still selling dogs that come from puppy mills. And I even had my own experience with Petland. I called Petland one day because I was hearing about that, and I was also looking for puppies for other people, and I was wondering where they got their puppies from. And when I called there to ask questions, when I asked them a lot of questions about the dog's parents, where they come from, I noticed they were being very evasive. So because of that, I would never trust Petland. And actually, the Humane Society had done an investigation on Petland, and they allegedly found that they were still getting puppies from puppy mills. So places like that, they're off limits. they claim that they love dogs, but places like that are all for the money. And they'll sell you a bad puppy and they don't care nothing about it. They do horrible business. I would never give them my business. And puppy mills are a horrible place. Do not get your puppy from there. I know if you've been ignorant in the past and bought a puppy from a pet store like the one I just named, don't do it again. You know, be smart. Get it from a breeder or actually get it from the animal shelter. But leave these pet stores alone because they doing bad business. And in 2023, that should not be allowed, period. Next question.
Okay, so can you explain the difference between buying a dog from a shelter who you may not know where it came from buying it from a puppy mill?
Okay, well, at least when you buy a dog from a shelter, they telling you what it is. They being straight up with business. See, puppy mills are liars. Pet stores are liars. And then they up the price to some ridiculous amount of money. So it's just bad business all the way around. If you buying it from a pet store, that pet store done paid little to nothing for that dog. You got trauma, everything else. And then they gonna jump the price completely up like you just getting the best bloodline ever. You gonna pay thousands of dollars, $1,000, whatever amount is too much for the dogs that they trying to give to you. At least when you go to a animal shelter, you know what it is. And they not gonna overcharge you, and they gonna make sure that they gonna at least do good business. They gonna make sure they give the dogs their shots, and all that. They're gonna spay them, neuter them. If that's what you want done, they're gonna do all that before you even get the dog. So it's still better than getting it from a pet store. Pet stores, horrible business.
Okay. Thank you for this great information. I think this will help a lot of people in the long run. Before we end, what is your favorite dog?
Well, a Belgian Malinois. Those are my favorite dogs right now. I like Dutch Shepherds too, but the Belgian Malinois, those are my favorites.
And what is the origin of that dog?
Belgium.
So, the dog on the cover of My New Puppy, is that your dog?
Well, that's Sadie. Sadie's close to my heart, but Sadie is Christian's dog. Come here, Sadie. Come here. Okay. This is Sadie. See, she done got big. She's still doing what she did on the cover.
And what type of dog is Sadie?
This is Christian's dog.
She's a black mountain.
And how old is she?
We really, she's 1 year old, and we really thought she was a German Shepherd mixed with a black mountain, but we just know that she was just a black mountain.
And where'd you guys get her from?
I can't remember the place. Can you?
It was a shelter.
Oh,
Sadie's
yeah.
a shelter dog.
And she got found at the laundromat somewhere. At the laundromat, so it's a girl.
Yeah, and she's a great dog. And Christian has trained her to do a lot of good things. And you'll see more of Sadie.
She likes to play too.
Okay, see y'all later.
Peace out.